I am starting the parameterization. Yesterday we done right username, password, and this all things. But we have the parameter types. What are the parameter types? Hello, what are the parameter types? Hello.
Hello.
What are the parameter types?
You
File, date, and time, right?
Yes, sir.
File, date, and time, iteration number, random number, right? What is the parameterization?
Entering the data manually, sir.
Entering data manual. Ravi,
If
what
we
is
want to change,
parameterization? You guys not going through the material? Everyone have material?
yes, sir.
So in parameter types, so like see, you can go to the parameters. What are the parameters we done? We are able to see for all parameter list here. So these are all parameters we done, like username, password, and these all things we done. So these all will be types. What are the parameter types? Means file, date and time, and group name. This all will be types of the parameters. So it is a text or it is number, we can go with the file. Maybe it is the date and time parameterization, we'll go with the date and time parameterization. And going to the same to these are the types, we have the properties also will be there. What are the properties like sequential, random, and unique? Sequential, random, unique. And same to the, we have the each iteration, each occurrence, and once also will be there. So going to the, so it depends on the situation, we need to use for the sequential and random and unique. So what is the sequential? Anyone know what is the sequential?
No, sir.
So sequential nothing but like every user has to pick the first data point. Like for example, I will give for the example. Now we will go with the one by one. First one will be like sequential each iteration. Sequential each iteration. So now in sequential each iteration, so now we have the user names and passwords will be there. So username 1 and password will be 2, 3, and 4. And password will be some, A is a one password, and B, assume just example I'm giving, C and D is the password. So what will happen means sequential, what is the sequential means every user has to pick the first data point. For example, user 1 will be pick the first data point, every user has to pick the same data point. This is the sequential. See, means A pick the one is pick the user A, then all user picking for the same password for the, this is the sequential. So iteration one, this is the happen. So second iteration, maybe you are doing for the second iteration. So second iteration time, what will happen means, see, iteration nothing but it will update for the value, because already one is completed. Next to one, which is the value, B pick, and 2 also pick the B, and 3 also pick the B, and 4 also pick the B. So what will happen? See, same username and password. And again 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again A and B and C and D there. So already in sequential point of view, already we used A. So what is the next data point? B. So sequential, what will happen? First user which value is picked, all users will pick the same. See, 3 also pick the B, and 4 also pick the B. And third iteration, guess which value is picked for the all users? Ravi?
Sir.
So third iteration, which value is picked?
C.
C. For 1 pick the C, and 2 pick the C, 3 pick the C, 4 pick the C.
4 pick C.
So means sequential stand for every user has to pick the first data point, and it will, each iteration means it update for the every iteration. See, you can observe first iteration it is a, and after that A, what is the updated value? B. So it is picked for the B. And third iteration, what is the update value? C. Fourth iteration, what? D. So like this will pick for the sequential each iteration. Everyone understands sequential each iteration? What is the sequential? Nothing but every user has to pick the first data point, and each iteration means update for the every iteration. That is the sequential each iteration. Okay, and going to the next one will be random each iteration. We'll see the random each iteration. So what is the random? Anyone guess? What is the random? See, means random is what will happen if a user will pick the anything, right? Maybe see, you can observe this. So we have the username password, and this is the random. One minute. Random each iteration. Now random each iteration. What is the random? Sequential means every user has to pick the first data point. Random means every user has to pick the randomly, means if anything is will pick, maybe is going to the A will pick the C, and 3 will pick the A, maybe 2 will pick the D, and 4 will pick this B. Means randomly it will pick the values, like it will be not continue like A only pick, B only pick is not. So random is every user has to pick the what is the data point we have to the randomly, it will pick for the randomly. And each iteration means also maybe first time C1 is pick the C, but second time what will happen? It is a randomly, maybe A also pick, and maybe D also pick, and C also pick, and 3 also pick. So it is a randomly pick for the users. This is the random each iteration. Ravi, able to understand?
Yes, sir.
So now we'll go into the like one more is there, unique each iteration. Unique each iteration. So first thing, what is the unique means? Every user has to pick the first unused data point. So what is that? Every user has to pick the first unused data point. First unused data point means what? For example, recharge card will be there. So you are using for the recharge card. So you are actually that card is you are able to recharge means someone will be used means you can use. We can use or not. Someone will already use it for the recharge card. So same card we can use means it will work or not. It will not work. So that is why unique stand for the one-to-one mapping. Like see now unique stand for every user has to pick the first unused data point. So one is the what is the first unused data point? A, right? So one will pick the A. And second, what is the unused data point? Already A used for 1. It will use for A because it's a unique property. We can't use for the A because already we use it. For example, our Facebook application or banking applications will be there. So my credentials I can log in for my credentials only, but I can't use for the Ravi credentials. My username, I use for my username, and password will be I use for the Ravi credentials. It will work. It will not work. So same way, it's a one-to-one mapping. So 2 user pick the B and 3 will pick the C and 4 will pick the D. So one-to-one mapping. Unique stand for the one-to-one mapping. Maybe again we have the some updated values will be there for here A and B and C and D will be there. So now we can observe second iteration means each iteration. Each iteration means it will update for the every iteration. First iteration already A picked. So already user used. So what is the update value? This is the update value for this one. It will pick. And already B is completed. Second value, what is the update value? Small capital B. And third will be this one. And fourth will be this one. See, one-to-one mapping means unused data only you can use for the unique each iteration. Is clear, everyone? And now we can go here and we are able to see here, and we need to see the one by one sequential each iteration. And I'm going to clicking for the simulate parameter, and I'm giving for the number of users will be 4. Number of iteration will be 4 iterations, and I can simulate. Now we can observe user 1 pick the Jojo, user 2 pick the Jojo, user 3 pick the Jojo, user 4 pick the Jojo. And second iteration time what will happen? Each iteration, that is why it is updated for the Jojo 2. And third iteration Jojo 3, Jojo 4 happen. When it is happen, sequential each iteration. So it's clear this, everyone? And going to the next, we'll go to the, we can change for the random each iteration. And click on simulate, and again I'm simulating. So now we can observe randomly. See, user 1 will pick the Jojo 2 and user 2 pick the Jojo 3, user 3 5, and again user 4 also 5, because randomly it will pick same values also it will pick. And iteration 2 you can observe Jojo 2 and user 2 is a Jojo 5 and user 3 will be Jojo 3, again Jojo 3. So means randomly it is picking. So this is for the random property. And going to the next one will be unique each iteration. You can click on simulate and click on this. See, user 1 pick the Jojo and user 2 pick the Jojo 5. Because we don't have any updated value, what will happen means it will be insufficient data you will get. See, insufficient records for parameters. So again, iteration 2. See, you can observe Jojo 2, Jojo 5, it is picked. And Jojo 3, Jojo 5, and Jojo 4, Jojo 5. So like this, you will pick for the unique each iteration. So it's clear for unique property and each iteration. Now we'll go into the sequential occurrence. Sequential each occurrence. So already we know for the sequential. What is the sequential? Every user has to pick the first data point. Like every user will pick the A only, B pick 2 pick the this, and 3 pick this, and 4 will pick the this. It is the common for sequential point of view. But each occurrence will be there. Occurrence means what will happen means it will update for the values for the next value. So next time it will pick the B, and means one user pick the B and all users will pick the same value. So like this it will pick for the unique sequential occurrence. And random means what will happen? So you can select it for the random. So random is already we know. Randomly it will pick the any one of the values. Like randomly it will pick. And going to the unique. Unique means every user has to pick the unused data point and it will be updated for the occurrence will be changes for the occurrences. So this is for the each occurrence. So each occurrence we can't simulate because you cannot simulate a parameter where updated value on is each occurrence. Alternative select for the each iteration. So simulate nothing but just your understanding purpose only. How values is speaking you want to see means you need select for this one. Okay. And now final thing we'll go to the again sequential, and we have the one more option will be there once property. Sequential once. Now we can observe sequential once. Simulate. See, user 1 pick the Jojo and user 2 pick the Jojo, user 3 pick the Jojo. And but you can observe here, iteration 2 also, iteration 3, iteration 4, nth iteration also it pick the same values. Iteration 1, what are the values we picked? So all iterations will pick the same value. So at that situation, you can use for the sequential once property. It's clear? You guys can observe iteration 2 same, iteration 3, iteration 4 means 100 iteration also it will pick the same value. And going to the random ones. Now we'll see the random ones. Click on simulate and click on here. Now you can observe randomly to pick the iteration 1. What are the values pick the iteration 1? Iteration 2 also same, iteration 3, iteration 4 will be picked. So when it is happen only once property only, it will happen like this. And one more we have option unique ones. Now you can observe, click on simulate. See, first user pick the Jojo, second user pick the Jojo 2, Jojo 3, Jojo 4 means 1-to-1 mapping. But you can observe iteration 2 what will happen. So same username password is picking for the up to nth iteration. That is the once property. So you're able to clear right now what is the each iteration and each occurrence and each once property. So each iteration means values will be updated. Occurrence means every time values will be updated for the values as a occurrences point of view. And once means it will pick for the first iteration what are the values it pick. So all iterations in nth iteration or 100 or 1000, 2 lakhs iteration also it pick the same. What are the first iteration values pick, it will continue for the all. That is for the unique each iteration. So going to the when we are selecting as a unique each iteration, we are able to see the some properties also for here. You can observe when out of values. So you can select some other like unique, you can random you can select, and unique also, and sequential you can select. Sequential you are unable to see, but you can select a random, you are unable to see, but you can select for the unique each iteration time. So only unique time only it will display for this tree. What is this tree means? About the user, and continue with cyclic manner and continue with the last value. So when it is happen means, so about user means, for example, we are doing for the like this, 1 pick the A, 2 pick the B, 3 C and 4 D. And after that, we want to no need to pick for next value. So you can give for the about the user. And means after fourth user, it is about the test. And you are doing for the continue with the cyclic manner. Then what will happen? Maybe here is D will be there. E will be there. Then what will happen? Again, one user pick the this one. When you are given continue like continue with the cyclic manner. And one more option, continue with the last value. So what is the value will be there, you want to continue with the last value, it is will be continue for this. After 4 it will be finish your it will not take for the any of the values. This is the properties. So when we this will right, so only it will be there, continue with last value, only unique each iteration time only it is enabled. Now you can select, apart from unique, you can select occurrence and once property. So you are not able to see this, only each occurrence and only each iteration time only you are able to see these properties. It's clear, everyone? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Ravi, clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So today's maximum people are not generate. So
Yes,
what you can do means, again you guys can record script again, do for the parameterization, and after that you need to observe for the sequential how it is happening, and random how is happening, and unique is how is happening. You guys will be able to understand. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And SM2, you guys can prepare for the like go to the material and prepare what is the sequential, what is the unique, what is the each iteration, what is the occurrence. These properties you need to able to understand, and you are able to see for the graphical oriented also some diagrams will be there in material. You can go through that and you can read it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for joining. We'll meet for the next class for tomorrow same time.
Okay, sir.